Hello, YouTubers! This is the InspectorOfFluff of fanfiction.net, and with me today to read Titan's Kindergarten winner is my very good friend, Rhett The Brat Prince.
Sup, baby? I'm really happy to be here with my best friend, the Inspector. And don't worry about the chibies, they're out back playing poker and discussing wages, which they don't get.
Shut up! Anyways, it was another normal day at Jump City Kindergarten. The birds were singing, the sun was shining, small children were gathered in a circle chanting, and Raven was in the middle of the circle sunning over a shocked and crying 5-year-old. Over towards the side, there was a rather interesting cactus in the shape of a T-180. What? Oh, wanna go back and see what Raven is about to do to the poor grumpy little boy on the floor who's acting like he's about to see the Lord of Hell himself instead of just his son and never ever play with his toys or see the light of day? Are you sure? Because that cactus sure looks mighty interesting. Oh, fine, whatever. We'll go back to Raven standing like a fierce Amazonian about to go in for the... What? You want to find out why Raven was about to violently sacrifice the pitiful little kindergartner who needed a new pair of undies? Oh, fine. But are you sure you don't want to look at that cactus some more? It's so romantic. There's even a carved S, R, and T forever. Well, it all started when a certain 6'6" bleached blonde named Parker decided that he was going to take Zeke's students to the nearby park in Tokyo. Needless to say, Zeke wasn't exactly pleased with his best friend. Parker grinned sheepishly as Zeke's brown eyes slowly began to turn black. Well, Tokyo is much closer to Gi-Won than Jump City was. Gi-Won looked up from her Gaegyum, a frown on her face. She could have just sworn that she had heard her boyfriend Parker's voice, crying. But Parker was on the other side of the planet. As Parker ran away, screaming for his life. With a pissed off Prince of Hell sending out his horde of hellhounds. Zeke's students decided that they wanted to play Casa Cristo, a game that Parker had told them about, and they were all divided into teams of 3 to see who would win. The object of the game? To cross through the desert of the sandbox, go through the mountainous slides, and then slip through the Maltese ice tunnels, and then get to the finish line first. Beast Boy grinned as he fixed his special yellow ascot, adjusted his goggles, and tapped his white and red helmet. He was going to win this thing, sitting on a bench, reading, or at least pretending to read. Sat Raven, and she hid a smile behind her book when she saw how adorable her grassland looked. It was just as the toddlers of Jump City Kindergarten were getting ready to play that the #1 racer of Tokugan Kindergarten appeared, and his name was Taijo. Taijo smirked as he walked up, which was rather impressive for the little 5-year-old. Who knew a 5-year-old who could smirk? Finally reaching the others, Taijo's smirk widened.
I wish to join your race,
the toddler said arrogantly. The others were rather perturbed by the little boy, but Phoebe, being Phoebe, grinned and told them, let the boy play. Parker came running with Zeke not too far away when they spotted the assorted toddlers, looking at one another and deciding to take a rain check on their death chase. They pulled out some sunglasses, grabbing their microphones, the 2 best friends hopped on a nearby bench and began to do what they did best. We're just minutes away from the start of the Casa Cristo. You know, Parker, a lot of people call this the grand name of playground racing.
Parker nodded. Yes, and there are some who say the most dangerous. In recent years, there have been talks by the International Playground Committee to outlaw the game.
Ah, yes, Zeke said. There have been major rallies in the last 3 years, which prompted the IPC to consider discontinuing the game.
You know, some toddlers would say the hardest part is the start.
Oh, the Mercana?
Yeah, those sprinklers are really tricky.
A movement to the right caught both of their attention. Ah, speaking of starts, here comes the queen of the playground herself. The moment she sees the light glint off the slide, she'll signal the start of the race. The little girl squinted off into the distance. The toddlers narrowed their own eyes, making race noises as they waited with bated breath. And then finally... boom! And the racers are off! Parker and Zeke shouted. As the little racers took off, they all ran to see who would make it to the finish line first. Just as the racers made it to the beginning of the sandbox, 3 of the racers fell to the Mercona, unable to navigate the deadly sprinklers.
Ooh,
Parker cringed.
looks like another few just bit with dust.
Raven watched as Starfire and Dick perished in the deserts, taken out by Cyborg's questionably legal double mace hammer. It is nearly impossible to see what happens in those hands, Zeke remarks to Parker, who simply nods viciously. Next are the hills. Taijo chuckled darkly as he passed the other toddlers. No one could beat him! He passed by another kid and tripped a little redhead. A certain pink cat stopped two of the boys hurt. Parker stopped munching on his popcorn to announce.
And it looks like Wally is out of the race. His ever-loyal Pink Shadow Jinx taking a DNF to help him. Taijo's in the lead, leaving only Cyborg and Beast Boy as his contenders.
And you know what's next, Parker? Zeke said, sharing a look with the red-eyed giant. The
Maltese ice tunnels.
Cyborg slipped the moment he entered the tunnel, leaving BB and Taijo as the only remaining racers. They twisted and turned, and Taijo put everything he had into this race. He couldn't lose to that stupid green boy. As the two burst out of the tunnels, Beast Boy gave an extra spurt of speed. He needed to win this for Raven. Just before he hit the finish line, he tripped on his own shoelace. He had never quite learned that bunny around the tree and into the hole. Taijo shouted out victoriously as he passed into victory lane. He won again! It looks like young Taijo-kun is the winner of the Casa Cristo once again. Parker was crying.
Yes, but young BB always has next year. I hope next year's also a team.
Taijo basked in the approval of his peers. When one asked if he had thought that the green boy was a challenge, the Japanese boy laughed.
Haha. No, because he's dumb. Probably the dumbest boy in the whole playground. What a loser.
Raven, who had just been making her way over to comfort her grass dame, heard the remark made by the cocky, arrogant, mean little duty head, and before she knew it, she had stomped up to Taijo, pulled her fist back, and punched him right in the face. Which brings us back to the beginning of our story, with Raven standing over the whimpering Taijo, whose cheek was throbbing with pain and whose eyes were wide and fearful. As Raven brought up her other hand, a blur of green had jumped in.
Wait,
The green toddler asked, nodding for him to continue. Raven waited.
would you like to see my card collection?
Smiling, Raven nodded. I'd love to. As she dragged her smiling changeling, Raven had only one thought. You'll always be a winner to me. Parker cooed in the background.
And would you look at that, folks? Young Garfield Logan, better known as Jump City Kindergarten's Beast Boy, may not have won the Casa Cristo, but he won the girl. And all that matters is the game of love. I'm coming for you, Gilwan.
Gi-Wan looked up once more from her table in catharsis. She could have sworn that she'd hurt her large American boyfriend for the second time that day. Thinking about her giant, ever-changing hair color, hyperactive, lovable boyfriend Gi-Wan couldn't... Parker. Lovable boyfriend Parker. Whoops. Gi-Wan couldn't help but smile. She had never felt like more of a winner than when she knew that Parker was all hers. Now don't you think that the story about the cactus would have been much more interesting? And please remember, Titan's Kindergarten winner is in no way affiliated with the major motion picture Speed Racer released in 2008, or with the major franchise known as Teen Titans owned by Cartoon Network
And DC Comics.
So please, do not sue us. The only thing we have up for collateral are our chibis.